Right, let's make a start then. So, for the 56 people who've turned up on time, welcome and wello. I have dropped a 2 mils rat milk raffle into the conspiracy camp. So, the 56 people that are here now can go to the conspiracy camp channel, click the raffle, earn your 2 mils. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of the community. We love you. This is our stealth way of doing that. So, get yourself to conspiracy camp as soon as you can, and you can take part. There should be enough for almost everyone as well. So if you're here now, yeah, that's the reward for being early. So congratulations. So another week in the Weirdoverse. How is everybody? I hope you're all doing really well. Fantastic week. And it's almost upon us that we're hitting 15,000 in the server. So a huge wello to the extra additional 5,000 new weirdos since last week, something in the region of 5,000. So 50% growth on the entire community within a week, which is absolutely amazing. What that really says to me, though, is that we've got so many new people that we need to make feel welcome. So that you're going to see a huge influx of people next week and the week after as we get closer and closer to our mint date. It already feels bigger and it already feels different. And it's really important that those OGs out there that have been part of this for either months or even weeks, who understand what we're all about. Help new people, show them the ropes, show them what we're about, bring them into your faction. We all know about that now, don't we? So we've got some things to share on that front too. Just to give you a quick recap on the key things from last week then. So, I mean, for me, I've got Crypto Jack on mute on the stage as well, but by far the biggest highlight of last week was the launch of our new rat milking game. Absolutely amazing. Can't speak highly enough of the work that the guys have done behind the scenes on bringing that to life. So you'll have just seen the announcement that Roland, the star of the Milk the Rat game from the last few days, needs a quick break. He's been Roland, she's been off for a few days at R&R at Rodentia Farm Spa facility. It's a tough life being intensively reared for your very few milliliters of milk, so it's time for a break. So don't worry, there is a new rat in town, but the key is she likes to be milked differently. So today's rat is called Renata. Say hello to Renata, everybody. The 48-hour cooldown on playing the game should be refreshing for people who took part very early on Saturday. So if you are in a position to play again, then please do so. You'll be earning rat milk for your faction, which is all important when we get on to the next section. So I've been talking about factions. Most of you are on the call are in a faction. What is a faction? It's really important. As I said, we've got 5,000 new people in the server in the last week. Not all of them have joined a faction. They might not even know what one is. So what are they? Well, if you go to our story, the story in Weird Info, you'll see the backstory of what is going on in our world in the Weirdoverse. And the group of counter-revolutionaries known as the Weirdos, they escaped the oppression of the state. This is 200 years into the future, by the way. Secretly set up the farm. This is a refuge of misfits and like-minded castaways who just refuse to fit in. Where we are today is that the Weirdos, in order to continue to exist in isolation from the state, have stolen blueprints from the state that will allow them to build their own cloning machine. And they've discovered that rat milk is actually quite an important aspect in building that out. So in order to start large-scale farming, rat milk is a really important part of their ecosystem. And so here we are. This is why we are in a enduring and ongoing battle between the state and the Weirdos. And the way in which we can take part in that is by joining a faction and recruiting to our faction and earning milk for that faction. So that is, in a nutshell, the faction challenge, which we've talked about every week on this call. It starts to really get exciting now. We're in some big numbers now, in some serious territory. And this week's competition has been as close as anything we've seen. In fact, it's starting to get closer. So I've got a live update on the numbers from the week 2 faction challenge, which ends in 4 hours' time at 9 p.m. UTC or UK time, so adjust accordingly for your time zone. So the latest numbers in declaration of a side, a faction, we've got the Weirdos at 1,013. That was the start of the week. Sorry, we started the week with the Weirdos at 1013 and the state at 580. The live view looking now is the Weirdos have doubled to 2030. They're at 2030, and the state have grown to 1148. So in context, this is a proportional growth challenge each week. The key to this game is the faction that grows by the largest percentage in a given week will win the faction challenge. The Weirdos have grown by a total of 100% with 4 hours to go. The state, who were 5% behind as of last night's announcement, have closed the gap to 98%. They've closed the gap by 3% in the last few hours. So the state really are coming up on the rails, and it's going to be fascinating what happens at the 9 p.m. snapshot. Now, as a reminder, the winning faction will receive more creamless raffles dedicated in their own separate faction channel and more rat milk giveaways. So it really is important to the winning team. You will get more prizes, you will be rewarded, you'll be able to start stacking more creamless spots and start getting ahead of your rivals. So 4 hours to go. It's not over. There's still time. If you see new people dropping into the lodge, this is what we do. How do you recruit them? You tell them to go to bot commands and they type /faction and they follow their instructions, and which takes them to the website and they get to declare their side from there. So look, it's all to play for. I can't wait to see what happens, but it's all in your hands at this point. So what else has happened last week? Well, we had a couple of weekend contests. We had a Twitter contest to tell us what your weirdo is up to this weekend, which we will be distributing prizes on shortly. Thank you for all those weird and wonderful entries. And we had a Weem contest in the Weems channel as well. So I've asked the mod team to select their favorites from the Weems posted over that 24-hour challenge as well. I will start making some announcements around who won and then start issuing the milk prizes later today as well. So there may even be some creamless spots for the very exceptional submissions across both of those. So we've done some thorough marking of the submissions, and I'll be coming back to everyone with the results later. Now, we've also, on a slightly more dry and technical point, changed our support channel as well. So our ticket-based support channel is now live. We used to just have an open channel in support where everyone could see what you were typing. Now you get to raise a ticket and get referred to an individual member of either the Team Weirdo or our moderator team. So you can deal with your questions with a degree of privacy without DMs. How best to say this? An increase in the interest in our server from a scam and security perspective in the last week as well. So we've been thinking about how we tighten our security and our restrictions around how we talk to the community as well. So it's actually a really good time to remind everyone that if you see someone from the moderator team or Team Weirdo, you can rest assured that we will not DM you. We will never DM you. Discord DMs are an absolute shower. We will not touch you via DMs, okay? There is no point in presuming that any of that's real. You will see scams, you will see clones, you'll see counterfeits. Do not click links in your DMs. Turn off your DMs wherever you possibly can. We will never need to communicate with you that way. We'll always communicate in the open, in official channels, either in the announcements or in the lodge or in any other of our public channels where everyone can see what we're talking about, okay? With the exception of our ticketed support. And again, we won't be sending links in there as well. So that pretty much wraps up the keys from last week. We had some pretty cool games, but I'll go on to that in terms of this week's schedule now. So in announcements, a few hours ago, I put together the weekly schedule. So we're going to wrap this up before 6 p.m. UTC UK time, because I'm going to head over to our new Rumble Royale channel, and start running a few Rumble Royale games. Now, a lot of people in the community have asked for this. We've given it a few tests in the background, and we ran a couple of low-key soft launch games for it in Milk Games last week, which went really well. It's really simple. All you have to do is at 6 p.m, find the Rumble Royale channel. It's read-only. You can just click the emojis in there to take part, and that's all you need to do. So you'll see a new game. You'll have to click an icon. You'll have to click an emoji to take part. There's a 2-minute registration window. Everyone jump in there and click in, and then it is a bot that basically does a last man standing contest between everyone who's taken part. And you get all these cool descriptions around how people are finishing each other in the battles. So you just need to check that, stay close to it, The winner will earn a cream list. I'll keep rerunning the program for a few re-rolls, so we should be able to give out a few cream list spots. And while we're playing, I'll drop in some milk raffles as well, so that those who aren't winning still come away with something and get to take part and feel part of something bigger. So it's just a new part of our repertoire, of our ever increasing series of games that we have to offer to you in the Weirdoverse. And then, as I said, later tonight, 9 p.m, got the end of our Weirdos versus State Faction Challenge. So we'll take a snapshot and then check the announcements channel for the winner later. Over the next 24 hours, we'll start issuing those prizes to the winning faction as well. So that's something to look out for in your local faction channel. And then on to tomorrow, Tuesday, we've got the welcome return of our favourite guessing game. Yes, it's Pictionary using the Gartic bot. It is as mayhem-inducing as anything that we do in this server. So if you've not played Pictionary before, it's very simple. You get these automatically generated pictures, which look like anything from like a 5-year-old's cartoon crayon drawing to slightly more professional MS Paint art, but you will get a picture that you have to describe. It's as simple as that. Usually a one-word answer, sometimes two. You'll get a picture of a cocktail glass, and it's the fastest to type. The Gartic bot announces who got it exactly right by spelling first, and then they're awarded a star or a point. We add up all the points at the end of 30-minute sprint, and we start awarding cream list and milk prizes off the back of that. So if you come to Milk Games at 2 p.m. UTC tomorrow, we will start another weekly round of Pictionary. Then we've got Tuesday evening, so we're going to give it 24 hours, and then at 9 p.m. tomorrow night, we'll take our next snapshot of the Weirdos versus State Faction declarations, and we'll run that for another week from there. Okay, so that's kind of how we're running this. We go 1 week of game, 24 hours pause while we give out prizes, and then we go again for another week. If Pictionary doesn't suit you at 2 p.m. UTC tomorrow, we have another round on Wednesday morning UK time. Now that equates to middle of the day time, 8 hours in UTC plus 8, so like 2:30 p.m. UTC if you're UTC plus 8, and then late in the Pacific Coast window for the West Coast Americans, 6:30 UTC. We've got Pictionary for a second time. You can take part both times with Pictionary. You don't have to just turn up to one. If you want to turn up to both, that's great. I mean, it's up to you. But the whole purpose of our weekly schedule is not for you to feel FOMO to turn up to everything that we offer. It's just to give everyone a chance to do something. It's as simple as that, Okay, so this is really the aim that we're trying to do here. You need to sleep. Real life is important. Sleep's very important. So don't wake up and set weird timers and alarms for doing these things. We keep on switching the times around each week as well. So hopefully by the end of this pre-sale window, everyone gets a chance to play absolutely everything in our Weirdo. And then a new game on Wednesday. This is going to run for a few days, and it's a slightly different take on what we've been doing before. Those of you who remember your lives before Web3 might remember Facebook. Never used it myself, can't remember what it is. But Facebook had this page, I'm told, called Rate My Plate, and it took on this cult status of people sharing their not so delicious creations, or initially maybe it was what they thought were delicious creations, but the internet told them how awful they looked. And so Wait My Plate was born. Wait My Plate is very simple. It's a weird cooking contest. We're going to be asking people to submit their genuinely awful, weird cooking creations, and we'll be awarding prizes for the most disgusting, most weird, most unusual things that you can create. We'll be looking for ways to verify that you've actually done that and not pinched it from the internet as well. So we'll be announcing some rules for Wait My Plate on Wednesday, but I'm really looking forward to seeing some slapped down meals on some horrible looking plates. I've just got someone in the audience who I'm going to invite up to speak. Crypto Boss. I mean, I should be calling you sir or madam, I think. Bear with me. You are coming up on stage. Hi, Crypto Boss.
Hey guys. So
Hey.
I was just listening to you guys. I'm quite new here, and I don't know if this question was answered. So I have a question. Can I ask?
Please, yeah. Please do. I'm Wello, by the way. Welcome.
Yeah, so thank you. So I like what you guys are doing with games and Rumble. So, and I run my own software company, so I'm very bullish on team building. Okay, so I just wanted to know, like, how did you actually build out your team? Like, where did you find your developer or your like team members? So I just wanted to know, like, how did you find each other?
That's a really good question. Thank you for that, Crypto Boss. So in answering this, I'll talk about my perspective, how I've arrived on the team, and then if Jack is around, he might be able to round out some of the bigger stuff around how the devs came together, how he met them, and the sort of how the links came across from the developer side and the group that I'm familiar with, or was in real life. So the cool story, three of us from real life are on the project team. So you've got me, Cheadle Heat, or Cheadle States as I am in this server, and I'm university real life friends with Crypto Jack and Kerno Cream, also from the project team. He's the marketing side of the business, and all our partners in collaborations. He's our real whiz on that front. But the three of us have been university friends for far too long. In fact, if I say 21 years now, starts to give an idea of our real life ages as well. So, you know, probably older than the average person in the community. But the truth is, Jack and Kerno Kareem, they set up in partnership some time ago. In fact, I think this is almost 6 months in the making now, as a project for those guys, and they've been working with the South African architect Ghost Breath, who they met some time ago. I joined that community as a collector myself, way back. Feels like it might be September for me as well. I was one of the first few people in the server, but literally just as a collector. I had a real life job at the time. I wasn't considering a career in Web3. Over time, my appetite for going all in on Web3 grew and grew and grew, culminated with me quitting my job back in early February. And as I was taking a holiday after my last job, I spoke to Jack on holiday, and they were just so happened to be looking for their community manager at that point in time, and it gave me a great opportunity to jump across and basically play at having a real job with an old couple of uni mates of mine. So I'm thrilled to be on the team with people I know and people I'm meeting now, like the likes of Ghost Breath and our brilliant dev team as well. But yeah, for the rest of it, maybe Jack might have some more dots to join.
Hey, yes, I'll try to be super brief. I also left my real life job in October last year. I'd already formed an alpha server and become extremely attached to the Web3 world. Intended to go into partnership with Kerno Cream. I'd already identified the artist Ghost Breath. He'd come up in some of my NFT project hunting that I'd done as part of my alpha server, and we approached him, proposed this project. My previous life, I was the head of product at a SaaS business, not unlike yours, a cybersecurity startup. So I'm used to kind of finding developer, designers, product marketers. So I've taken that experience and actually used my connections again through my alpha group Concord, and found two amazing. I can't even really call them developers. They're one of them is a CEO now of I don't want to dox him too much, but like of a 80-person education startup who's in the process of actually kind of selling that company, and has had time and has done a lot of the work around the bots and the website, and is kind of like borderline genius, though very, very grumpy. And the other guy, Mark, who's more doxed, is also kind of a tech lead at or was a tech lead at a UK-based payments gateway platform, and has moved and started his own business, which is called Apes Together, which is a Web3 business. But he's been kind of doing that in parallel with growing and helping us here. So he's done all of our smart contract stuff, building tools which specialize in the delivery of Web3 infrastructure for projects. So generative art tools, whitelist management tools, or allow list management tools. So we just, I mean, part of it was luck, but we've really stumbled across a very, very, very competent tech and design team. And I haven't even mentioned Jason, the designer. We've been approached by kind of design awards boards for the kind of designs that we've done on on the website as well. So a combination of good luck and just having built a network of like outstanding people in the Web3 space over the last kind of 12 months that I've been in the space. It was longer than I'd hoped. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah, thanks for the information, and just wanted to know. So you guys are planning to meet each other soon?
Ah,
So yeah, we.
go on,
Sorry, I
go
was
on,
just.
Jack.
So we have, apart from the artist Matt in South Africa, we've all met each other on a couple of occasions, and obviously Cheadle Heat and Kerno Cream, we've been meeting each other for good or bad for the last 21 years. So yeah, we'd like to get out to meet Matt.
Wow.
We were hoping to actually launch, and the whole team to go over to South Africa to launch with Matt, but for a number of reasons that's not been possible.
And I think just building on that as well, a lot of us are based in the UK as a project team, and I think what we'll do is when we do finally get to our public sale and all goes well, we will be celebrating that in some format, and hopefully that will take place in the UK between us. And we should also start thinking about IRL events that people in our general region can take part in and be part of it with us as well. So we are really starting to think about life beyond these circles of avatars on the screen on our stages right now. So yeah, it's exciting to think about stuff like that.
Cool. Awesome.
Cool, thank you. That was Crypto Boss. I'm just going to roll back to some of the stuff on the weekly schedule, and then we'll get into the community questions from our suggestions channel and anyone who has anything to come up on the stage with. So where were we? We were talking about Wait My Plate. So yeah, bring your disgusting food to the table. That's going to be announced on Wednesday. And then we're going to do another AMA at the same time as this, but on Wednesday. So 48 hours from now, same format. Another chance to ask as many questions as you like. We might, have some more updates by then as well, and we'll keep on talking about what's going on. So you've got plenty of opportunities to come in. The reason we're doing 2 this week instead of 1 like we did last week, well, it comes back to the first thing I said. This week we've had 5,000 new people join the server, so they all missed last week's AMA, right? So as new people are coming in, they want their they want their questions answered. They might have some really entry-level questions around the project, what it's about, where we're at with it, where we're going with it. So absolutely fair to keep on offering ourselves as many times as possible in this way. It's a great way to get through to lots and lots of you at once. So that we might not use it for half an hour. If no one's got any questions, we'll wrap it up early. But look, it's an opportunity to swing by. Tell us how you're feeling about the project. How's it going for you? What could we do differently? What should we be doing better? What have you seen elsewhere that you want us to be doing? Any games that you think that we should be playing that we've not been playing? It's all up for grabs. Well, us today as well, but that's why we're doing it twice a week. And then on Wednesday, late in the UK time, so 11 p.m. UTC, we're going to try bingo again. So this was on last week's schedule, and we got rugged by the website. For whatever reason, we couldn't get the signups to come back to us in a sensible time frame. I think they were just having sign-up issues on that day. So I'm going to test it again tomorrow, and if it all goes well, it will stay on our schedule for Wednesday. If not, we'll figure something else out to do. Maybe we'll do another Rumble Royale or whatever the people want to do. We'll throw it out to the community. Thursday has become our staple poker night, so I think we can't mess with that formula given the numbers that are coming through for poker now. So we have two different poker tournament slots. First one is at 9 p.m. on Thursday UTC. That's hosted by me. I'll send an invitation about 1 hour beforehand so that everyone can sign up in advance. The tournament starts exactly at 9. I might allow a couple of minutes for late signups, but really we are starting at 9. So get your signups done early. If you've not used Poker Now before, check it out before 9 p.m. Use your Discord ID when signing up with your username there, so we can award your prizes nice and easy. Simple as that. Then Thursday evening after the tournament, Kerno Cream and myself are jumping onto Twitter Spaces. Now, the format's quite similar to this. What we're thinking is there's a whole bunch of new people out there between now and our pre-sale and public sale that haven't heard of the Weirdos. This is our opportunity to start back from the very beginning, from first principles. What is the Weirdos? What's the collection about? When is it minting? What are we doing with the generative? All the basic questions, all the simple stuff that people really want to know about, just like the fact. And we'll try and bring you guys across and keep it interesting as well. So the idea is that we'll drop an announcement here on Thursday. We'll give the OGs and the people who actually do know something about the project something to talk about as well. The broader the audience, the better, because we want people to join and experience what you guys have joined as well. So that's on Thursday evening. Then Friday morning at 6:30 a.m. UK. Again, it's different time zones for different strokes for different folks, but it's our second poker tournament. We're running 2 a week, generally in 2 completely different time zones, so that everyone can play poker. And I think the Friday morning slot from last week, we had something like 300 people signing up. So you can only get 200 people into one tournament. So we can actually just run multiple tournaments all at the same time. If we've got 1,000 people joining, great. More cream lists to give out, more prizes to give out if we've got that many. So don't be restricted. If you think the numbers are going to be large, we'll just keep running more tournaments and we'll get everyone a seat at a table with a chance to win prizes. So that's really important to hear. And then all day Friday, we're going to start dropping a bunch of mini games into the Milk Games channel. So we've put these things on the schedule before. We've had all sorts of different Weirdos-based games. We've had Zoomed in Weirdos. We've had Guess the Weirdo from the Bio game. We're going to do that with Milk Games all day. One of our favorites. I don't know if it's a Team Weirdo favorite or a community favorite yet, but the Guess the Animal Butt was a big success not so long ago. We'll drop stuff like that into Milk Games all day, and we'll rotate between all the moderators. We'll take slots, and we'll just keep feeding games and fun into there. Now, not everything will be cream listed. Not everything will have gallons of milk all being sprayed around, but it will just keep the entertainment going all day long. The idea is it's like a festival of games all day. Then on Saturday, we're going to run a fan art competition, which we'll give details about later in the week. We'll run that for a week as well, so we don't want people to rush their submissions. Some of you have already produced some amazing fan art. Absolutely fine to be submitting it again. We're not asking necessarily for you to produce new things for this competition, but if you've got an artistic side, we want to reward that. We really want to see all your homages to Ghost Breath's work and all your derivative weirdos that you can think of in your weird and wonderful brains out there. So come and join us from Saturday for a week for a fan art competition. And then Sunday's kind of a day of rest. We'll still drop some things into the channel so people have got things to do if they want to take part in stuff, but we'll be relatively low key from our announcements. Nothing too majors coming up in our schedule, but we will give updates on the Weirdos versus State faction challenge as well, because if the last few days are anything to go by, it started to heat up massively in terms of recruitment, in terms of war of words between the two factions in the lodge as well. So we really want to see as many people taking part as possible. And now that the milking game is linked to the factions, and by that I mean you can't play our website Milk Game if you are not registered with a faction, so you can't even take part. It has added an additional dimension to the recruitment side of Weirdos versus State as well. So we'll provide an update on Sunday, and that will run through to the following Tuesday. Okay, I'm going to run through some of the questions that came into the suggestions channel before the AMA, and then in 30 minutes I'm going to wrap up because I'm going to jump over to Milk Games and start some Rumble Royale. So I'm going to take these in no particular order, but I've copied down a few of them from earlier. And the first questions were from somebody called Zalws. That's Z-A-L-W-S. I've seen your name a few times. I still don't know how to pronounce it. If you want to correct me at some point, you're very welcome, but it's Zalws. And they say, what's the total allocation of cream list and how far has it been filled? Are there plans to allocate more than the supply? Let's start from the end of that sentence. Are there plans to allocate more than the supply? The short answer to that is no. There are not. We are not looking to oversupply the pre-sale. So you don't have to worry about FOMO within pre-sale or some sort of mini gas war as a part of pre-sale. That is not part of our design. This is all about just getting everybody an opportunity in as fair and a fun way as possible onto our cream list and into our ecosystem to be able to join the pre-sale. If you're here now, my philosophy is if you're here now and you're active and you're taking part and you're having fun, you shouldn't be worrying about whether you end up on the cream list. You will get cream listed one way or another by one of the many methods of obtaining cream lists. So if you're here now, you're still early, you're very likely to be cream list. You're very likely to have multiple opportunities of getting several cream lists and stacking them by the time we get to pre-sale. So do not worry about your place. If you're in that sort of new bracket, let's say you've joined in the last week or last couple of weeks and you've got 4, 5, 8 mils of rat milk, something like that, it will get you there. You will end up on the cream list if you just stick around, take part, have fun, vibe with the community, check out the games, keep helping people, keep doing all the cool things that have made this community exactly as amazing as I think it is. You'll be on it in no time. So that's the short answer to that. So what's the total allocation of cream list? I don't have the numbers to hand today, but we've got quite a lot to go. So if you, I don't know if you've got anything on that, Jack. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I feel like we've got quite a long way to go before we're fully allocated. So there's lots of opportunities to get your cream list between now and our pre-sale. So don't worry, you haven't missed out.
Yeah, I think that's like the perfect answer. We're kind of got lots of information and data about the progress that we're making as a project towards kind of where we want to be for the pre-sale, and we're moving really nicely towards that. As Nick said, there's no need to be worried or panicking that you won't get an opportunity to purchase in the pre-sale if you're having fun. If you're engaging with the community in hopefully fun ways, not grindy ways, you'll get there. And we're tracking that. We're not going to let this get into a position where we're oversubscribed on the cream list. It is worth saying that we do intend to have a a significant public sale. I'm not going to say exactly how much that's going to be, but we do want to make a proportion of this collection available to the public in a public sale. But I think you just got to trust us that we're kind of watching that very closely and guiding the community into kind of a very exciting pre-sale and public sale.
Yeah, and just to finish off on that as well, I think we're relatively realistic. We know that the people that are taking part and having fun are very likely to get cream listed and also very likely to want to mint the project as well. The more you spend time with us, the more fun you're having, the more likely it is you're going to actually follow all the way through and mint an NFT. So we get that. But there will be people who have a cream list who don't use it as well. I think that's likely. Now, what percentage that is, we're not going to say. It's a guessing game at the best of times anyway, but there will be some available on public. I think we're quite clear on that. So the majority of you will get cream list. The majority of the project will be sold via cream list, but we do intend to have a significant public sale as well. I hope that answers the question more broadly. The next questions are not attributed to people, so I'm just going to rattle through them. And Jack, if you've got anything to say on these, you're welcome to join in. But the first two questions I think we should answer together as a combination. So is there any info or update on Project W, which is on the roadmap? And secondly, is there any further utility information of the rat milk? And I think when they talk about utility, it might mean now, as in separate to buying creamless spots, or it might mean beyond the mint. It's just, for me, it's a general utility question of rat milk. And so I don't know if you want to kick off, Jack, or whether you want me to talk about this, but when we start talking about roadmap and utility, it's a very, very big conversation that we're having separately behind the scenes as part of a project team. We've always been very, very cautious about not over-promising. And the thing is that we want to really not draw attention away from our next big milestone, which is the generative collection. Okay, so the things that we really, really want to focus on is you guys getting to the generative. Now, in terms of rat milk, I think it's fair to say that we do have plans to make rat milk a central part of our Weirdoverse long term. In terms of exactly what, so giving you specific examples, we're not going to do that today. We're really conscious of not sharing plans which change for good reasons as well, and set expectations that either don't get delivered or get delivered in a different way, which we believe to be better. So all I think it's worth saying is we are building a huge Weirdoverse. It's not just a generative mint and then we walk away into the sunset buying Ferraris and spraying Cristal. That is not this project. We are building a Weirdoverse. Rat milk will be a central piece of that. The roadmap will be built out in conjunction with the plans around the Weirdoverse and Ghost Breath's vision for the lore and the story of the Weirdoverse as well. But it's really important that you hear that we're not going to get into the specific details around roadmap items on the AMA. We're still a way out from the mint. It's really there. We've been working on this project as a project team for 6 months. The plans are very mature behind the scenes as well. We've been thinking about this stuff for a very long time. But in terms of announcing it, I'm not really even sure if I believe it's very healthy to be pricing in post-mint utility and roadmap items as part of price speculation going into a pre-sale, going into a launch. Jack, I don't know if you have anything you want to build on that.
Sorry, I coughed there. It wasn't an attempt to
I thought that
interrupt.
was a rat speaking.
No, don't worry.
Have you got a prototype back there in the deep corner of
I've got
Redemption?
Renata. Renata is actually in my room here with me now. I think, these roadmap questions are very, very important questions to answer, and to answer very kind of open and honestly. I think, like, if you boil it down to what, like, its core, asking a project to tell you about their roadmap is really just a method of understanding how kind of credible they are and how much you trust in them. And the kind of the approach that we've decided to take up until now is to not be talking about these kind of roadmap items that sit in the future, get people excited, create FOMO. As Nick said, people have collectors speculate, and that speculation be built into price. That's, in my view, and I run an alpha community, that in my view is a very dangerous route to take, and has proven, time and time again, if we look back at even impressive projects like Zipsies over the last kind of 2 to 3 months, that falls on its arse a little bit. So what we are endeavoring to do is to deliver now, not make promises about the future. So everything that we've been doing for the last 6 months has been about showing our community that we're doing things differently now. So we had a one-of-one collection that minted on site. That's pretty much unheard of. We had a integrated allow list, the cream list for that collection, all on the website, unheard of. Gas was under $20 per mint. It minted out in the public sale for those things, minted out in kind of under 10 seconds in both instances. We've got a Discord server where you can shop for cream lists, you can have fun. Everything that we're trying to do right now is about gaining your trust in us, that we have built a team that is going to deliver value in the future. And that team has already demonstrated that. The generative collection minted at 0.3, the Genesis collection minted at 0.2, the floor is 1, so it's already seen a 5x. The team's thinking about the tech guys. They've got a very good track record. They've worked on a project over at Megapon. I've lost count of the value that they've delivered to that community and how it's been reflected in the price of the token. So we're not going to go into great detail now about what we have got planned for the roadmap. But it's definitely not to say that we don't have things planned. We've been working on this project for 6 months, as Nick said. We've been speaking to all kinds of advisors. We've been laying detailed plans. And also, as Nick said, the thing that I don't think people are going to be able to get over in the days or the hours and days following the reveal of this mint is how fundamentally different it is from anything that they've seen before. As I kind of go on about this, it's going to melt faces, and to draw attention away from what we're kind of managing to do with the kind of the sophistication of the generative art and the rule set. It won't have been seen anywhere before. It's going to feel like we're creating a genuine Weirdiverse. And what I don't mean, it won't feel like there's traits. Each one of these individuals is going to feel like they're characters within one of 14 factions. I've seen some of the output of the punks faction, which is one of 14 different factions. As I said, there's at least two genders, and there will be a minimum of 5 different body types, hundreds and hundreds of different accessories. This is going to feel like something totally different. So that in itself, for me, is going to be delivering immediate value to collectors, because it's just going to be something that I strongly believe is going to be very highly valued by outsiders. So if you've got a cream list for the clones, then you know it's going to be a very exciting position to be in, I think. Obviously, I'm totally biased.
Yeah, I've seen a sneak peek of the initial outputs from the generative and the cloning event, just like Jack has, and it's incredible. And the first thing that I said to Crypto Jack when I saw it was, they don't feel like generative pieces. They just look like hand-drawn one-of-ones, exactly like our Genesis collection. And that's the biggest compliment that I can pay to Ghost Breath and the dev team and everyone who's worked on this so tirelessly to this point, that the things I've seen so far just look like one-of-ones. It's incredible. That you won't feel the style difference from the Genesis collection over to the cloning event. And that's kind of the point as well. These are clones of Genesis items as well. So it's really important to just think of that as you start going back through the collection on the website, or hitting Wandom in one of the channels, /Wandom brings up one of the Genesis items from OpenSea as well. So you can see, from the website, and you can see the inspiration for how these things are going to look before you've even seen the sneak peek. But it does make me want to ask that question on behalf of everyone else in the community, Jack. It comes up all the time. When sneak peek, Jack?
Ooh, we talked about it this morning. I think I know Jared's. So, yes, soon.
We're coming soon. We're coming soon with sneak peeks. Everyone's been asking. It's not far away. It's worth saying we have some stuff that will be coming into the public domain soon, and I'm not going to put a time and date on that, but it is coming. I can't wait for everyone to see what we've seen. Put it that way. On that note, there is a sort of a point adjacent to all of this as well, and it's around the number of cream lists that people can stack. So I've had a couple of questions that have been quite similar, which is, the upper limit of cream list increased from 2 to 4. What are the considerations and the reasons behind increasing that? And then another slightly longer version of that question as well, I think, sort of thinking through the pros and cons, or the reasons to be excited and concerned, is that it'll help to build up the community if it's stackable, because people will have reasons to stick around if they've got multiple investments in it. But then there's concerns that people with multiple cream lists will just flip and dump and move on, because they're just accumulating and trying to buy as many tokens as they can, profit off the FOMO and the hype, and just sell 5 or 6 tokens and then move on to the next big thing. Now, I talked about this separately with our moderator team recently, privately, and look, what we've been talking about behind the scenes is that there's no correlation between what you can do in a project and what kind of collector you attract to a project. So we believe that we're in charge of creating a culture that is fun and interesting and different, and creates engagement in a way which doesn't bring that sort of collector in droves, in volume, to a project. So look, there's no way of preventing people coming and flipping your project. I don't even necessarily believe it's a bad thing to have people coming in and providing liquidity to a project by selling to other people in the secondary market. I don't think flipping is a bad thing inherently. I flipped. I know Jack's flipped. In fact, I'm probably telling you stuff Jack hasn't told you, but Jack is one of the most diamond-handed collectors I've ever met. Jack is not averse to flipping things that put him in a better position to do things that he really wants to do long term. Now, what does that mean? You can be a flipper and a collector within the same entity. Now, all we're trying to do is position our project as something that is worth collecting. It's not down to the individual to try and, we're not trying to eliminate a certain type of individual. They just won't want to flip if there's value here. They won't want to flip if we're fun. They won't want to flip if we've got solid plans and we've executed well and we've delivered phenomenal art and there's a huge amount of interest in the project. So it will take care of itself if we deliver on the cloning event, if we deliver to a high standard across the board. And we've already got a small track record of doing that with our Genesis collections as well, and the way that we've, exactly as Jack talked about, with things like our gas and our contracts, and the way that we've handled everything in our website, our bots and that sorts of thing. So look, we're already delivering. There's more to come. We won't be able to eliminate or resist flipping, but by the way that we conduct ourselves and what we stand for and how we conduct the community within the Discord, encourage fun. One of our banner statements is to be the most fun server in Web3. I mean, that's right. Everyone feels like that, right? But it's hard. It's really hard to do because everyone wants to try and be the best at something. But we are genuinely trying to give people lots of different things to do, have fun while they're accumulating rat milk. We want it to just feel like something that you really actively want to do and have fun doing with other people that you've started to get to know. So all of that will build a different picture for how this looks post-mint. And also the way that we're distributing the cream list will start to have an impact, I believe, in the way that the secondary marketplace discovers the true price of the project as well. Now, we're not financial advisors. We're not telling you that we think it's going to move. We're not telling you that you should be worried. It's not really our place to talk about price. But the way that the wallet, that if you look at what we're looking at behind the scenes in terms of wallet distribution, it looks very healthy. There's lots and lots of people who are engaged and active and interested. So I don't really have a personal concern that there's a small percentage of whales dominating a large percentage of our future collection. That is not the case. So even if people at one end of the scale have 4, 5, 6, 7 NFTs, and we've not set that upper limit for what it's worth, we're not confirming it, and we're not talking about it today, but we are saying that there will be people who have a higher stack than you, most likely. We're not really worried about that end of the market. We think that there's a very healthy expectation that the people at that end have shown so much engagement over such a long period of time that they just want to own lots of the NFTs. They want to own many of the cloning events. So they want to keep them. They might sell one or two. That's okay too. And we really encourage that because that helps our project build, it helps it grow, it helps awareness. Liquidity is a good thing. So that's kind of my long rambling answer for wallet distribution, stacking, cream list. I don't know if you've got anything else on that, Jack.
I guess the only thing I would add, without sounding like I'm shilling my alpha community too much, is over the last 6 months, developed a very good understanding of what key healthy metrics are of a project, and we bring that understanding to kind of how we're going about distributing whitelists through the kind of rat milk and cream list economy. We've got a lot of information behind the scenes about who's the different Discord usernames, the distribution of those. We're tracking a metric internally. I think maybe this is telling you guys too much. We're calling clams cream listed active milkers. It's kind of our North Star metric internally.
You shouldn't Urban Dictionary clams for its worth.
Yeah,
should have looked
at that. So we're kind of, like I said before, we're kind of guide through the rat milk economy. We're guiding this community and collection towards some numbers which we think are going to be very healthy for collectors over the long term. We don't want to be in a position where we're over allocated. We can use this information to identify people who are multi-accounting. We've already done some of that already. So I think maybe the TLDR is we're very conscious of this. We know where we want to be. We understand what the good numbers are for us and for the community, and we're kind of making sure that we get there, and we're being very cautious and sensitive to that.
Yeah. You just mentioned multi-accounting, and that brings me on to another question. In fact, this came up several times in the suggestions channel, and I'll try and phrase it as an amalgam of everyone's concerns. But what are we doing about multi-accounting? Have we considered actions to prevent multiple Discord accounts coming for milk? And I think, look, we've already just answered a bit of that, which is we've already dealt with multiple dozens multi-accounters. So there is a channel where our supreme overlord, Mr. Zion, handles the subject of dual accounts, and we are putting quite a lot of those through a process in the wallet support channel within the lower court. So you'll be able to actually see some of that as it's coming in, I think.
I think sorry, Nick.
Yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say, we've, as I kind of mentioned before, we've got a lot of information about the cream list holders, and I don't want to kind of go into too much detail to give away our secrets on how we're identifying these multi-accounters, but we are identifying multi-accounters, and they're being stripped of their cream list spots and rat milk, and that's happening on a daily basis. So there's lots of different ways in which we're doing that, but it's happening. We're very conscious of it. We're not going to find them all. As Nick said, it's inevitable that we will have people who do set up multiple accounts or are using some kind of farm. It's like there are some types of activity which are harder to catch. We are taking it seriously.
Yeah, we won't catch everything, and I think anyone in the audience has a realistic expectation of how possible that is to catch everybody. But we are catching lots and lots already, and there's a lot out there that probably haven't thought through the footprint that they're leaving, around Discord. So it's definitely something that's right at the top of our priority list. There is a separate question around, similar themes, really, Jack. So is everybody's milk and cream list source public and traceable?
Public and traceable.
No,
it's definitely not.
It's the short answer to that.
It's not public at the moment.
Not public.
It's
not public, but we can see everything.
Web rat milk and
very
cream.
Web 2.
Very Web 2 still. And actually, that's worth. Like, we don't have very long, so I won't get into it in a load of detail. But we've got a record of everything. We've got over 50,000 rows of audit logs now. There's over 7,000 participants who have interacted and won rat milk in a contest, been awarded it, claimed rat milk, registered their address, declared for a faction. So we are tracking all of this. We've got the audit on our side, so it's very easy for us when anyone comes in to claim that they should have a cream list or should have won some rat milk, for us to look at it. It is off chain, and it's super not decentralized at the moment, and that's a deliberate choice. Just it allows us to move fast, allows us to experiment with this rat milk economy. Projects make big mistakes moving on chain, I think, too early, and not really understanding the complexities of tokenization and things like that. And we're learning all of those things behind the scenes, using kind of like a Web 2 solution with effectively points off chain tokens. So it's not publicly available, but if you want to know your own audit log, I can share it with you. Raise a ticket.
You're opening yourself up to dozens of freedom of information requests now, Jack. I hope you realise what you've just done. We do have a full audit trail of everything. Yeah.
Actually, I'm from the States. I should just say, like, we're not going to share that information.
We're just Web 2 rugging you. Simple as that. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Not even real. It's just a button in Discord. What are you moaning about? Are there any stress tests? Go on, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we have noticed a few people who are in rat milk debt. So the debtors may be around to kind of claim those debts shortly.
Yeah. Yeah, the Web3 loan sharks are coming for you. The interest rates are competitive. Right. Next question. Are there any plans for stress testing of the minting process before the mint in order to prevent FUD? Or it might not just be FUD, it might just be preventing fuck ups. I don't know what you think, Joe. We've got stress testing built into the launch plan.
I mean, like I said, my background's in building software projects. The dev team, both of them are very professional. You don't go into anything this serious without doing all kinds of testing. So stress testing is one thing. The amount of time it takes to produce the art is another thing. Performance testing different aspects of our system, quality testing the art, that's some of that stuff's already started. Security testing, so I think kind of like stress testing is one aspect, but there's going to be a much wider multitude of tests going on before we get to the mint, and we're taking that mint experience very seriously. It's kind of a seminal moment for any project, and we want it to be joyous moment with an amazing collector experience. We wouldn't want to risk anything not going through the whole process and have run through things properly beforehand.
That almost wraps up the suggested questions from the text channel. So we had a few repeats, so I'm not going to go through it all again. We had some stuff around how we're dealing with paid grinders and workshops, which I think sort of came into the previous answers around how we're dealing with multi-accounters as well. Do we ban and kick people out? I mean, short answer is yes, where we can and where we can catch them. We're not interested in people taking several chunks out of the ecosystem where we don't believe that it's going to result in a healthy outcome for the project. So yeah, we are looking at what we can, but we won't be able to catch everything. There are some sophisticated systems that will go beyond our ability to detect and catch, but we are doing everything that we can, and where we do, we make sure that a second or multiple accounts are deleted and they lose their milk and their opportunity to mint from that alt. So yeah, we're on it. That's as simple as that. What else have we got? I think that might be it. Unless there are any questions from the floor, I'm going to go over to the Milk Games channel in about 5 minutes' time and start the Rumble Royale. So we'll have a few rounds of Rumble Royale, 4 creamless spots, and some bonus milk. But if anyone's got anything, I'm here for a few minutes. I'm all yours. The floor's yours if you want to step up and talk to Jack and myself. We've answered everything so well, Jack.
So
met with stunned silence.
We have our first AMA with more than 100 people as well, I think. I don't know if we've gone through 100 before, so that's a cool little milestone for us.
Yeah, we should celebrate that.
Maybe we should give out some more rat milk.
Yeah. If one of the mods is on the AMA, maybe you could drop a little tactical milk somewhere and let me know. But I think we're going to wrap things up because we don't have any more questions and we've bored you to death with our weekly schedule. So come and join us in Milk Games now for Rumble Royale, and then we will see you again tomorrow for Pictionary for our Gothic bot. And we just kick off from there. It just keeps on going, really. So yeah, if you see new people, welcome them, tell them what's going on, and point them to the announcements channel for our weekly schedule. And we will hope to see you and lots of new faces through the week. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.